Hey, you guys, welcome back. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have been home just kind of hanging out lately. My dog finally got her surgery. So I don't know if you've been following the whole Kleina saga, but you guys, last October, she had an eye mass removed. It was a pretty big eye mass that grew quite rapidly, honestly, but it was benign. Everything's fine. It just was like on her eyelid. And so she had to get like a wedge procedure. Like they just cut like a wedge out of your eyelid and sew it back together. So one eye is like a little smaller, it looks. But, anyways, so that happened. And then it started growing back. And she also got a bunch of like cysts on her back, like sebaceous cysts, just like, on the skin, I guess. And so we had to get everything removed. And she's hanging out in a cone, trying not to knock every single thing over because this cone is massive and it has just been a lot. It's been a lot. She's just running around like crazy and I'm trying to keep her calm and it has been so much. But that is my update. It's been a lot over here, but said with so much love, right? Like I feel like sometimes I get on these tangents where I'm like, "Oh, life is so full right now and it's so busy and there's so much going on." But I love it. They're all chosen things. They're all things that I want. Oh my God, if you're watching on YouTube, look at my pothos behind me. It is droopy. Poor thing. Okay, need to water that after this episode. But let's dive in. I want to chat with you about sleep. I think that this is something so many of us have a really hard time with. I myself am coming in here after having one of those 4 a.m. wake up mornings where I just, woke up at 4 a.m. and I was trying to fall back asleep and couldn't. And I've just been awake ever since. So I was like, let's just do a workout. Let's record some episodes and let's dive into the science behind why sometimes we get really, really, really shitty nights of sleep, right? So I'm going to cue our intro, roll it, grab a cup of coffee, water, whatever you need, and let's dive in. Hey, friend, welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast. This is the podcast for ambitious, successful women who've checked off all the boxes: the career, the routines, the self-help books, and therapy. We've done it all. But if you're still feeling numb, stuck, or like you're just going through the motions, you're in the right place, because I've totally been there and I've healed myself using the tools that I now teach. I got certified in them so that I could help other women do the same. I'm your host, Audrey Rose, a registered nurse and somatic life coach, and I'm here to help you stop just coping, stop just going through the motions, and actually start feeling good again in your life, feeling happy again. Each week, we explore nervous system regulation, emotional wellness, and rituals that are rooted in ancient wisdom, ancient practices, so you can stop just going through the motions and stop just getting by and start really feeling lit up and alive and fully plugged in again. This is about real happiness, the kind that fills your body, lights you up, and helps you create a life that you are obsessed to wake up for. So are you ready? Because I'm excited to help you feel like you again. So this happens, I know it happens when you have a calm day, but I think more often it can happen when you have like a brutal day, right? When you're just totally overwhelmed, you're running on empty, everything's going wrong, right? You're hitting all the red lights, you go to the car wash and it's closed, you have to go somewhere else, you want to go get groceries, but you have to go to 3 stores to get what you need, right? Like a long day. And you finally get into bed. You fall asleep. And then you wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. like me, and your brain is suddenly ready to process everything that happened that day. Or it's going through your to-do list for the next day. You're like, I didn't get that call done. I got to bump it to tomorrow. I forgot to call the dentist for my husband. I got to bump that to tomorrow. I have so much to do. Oh my God, I was supposed to get, brownies for the PTA bake sale and I totally spaced. Now I have to wake up earlier and go to the store and get them, and every single thing. And before you know it, your phone is in your face. You're writing everything down. You're ordering an Instacart order, to get here at 7 a.m., whatever. It's a lot. So our nervous system does this to us. Our brain, I'm going to go through, some of this will be a little science related. And I decided something like, announcing this publicly is so weird, but like, I always love podcasts that are so fun and like chill and just conversational. And this is, but at the same time, I love to bring you the science. And so I decided like, I'm just going to go with it. Like, that's my wheelhouse, right? That's like what I know is like bringing you why this is happening, how we can hack it, what we can do for ourselves to make our lives better. And a lot of it has, excuse me, a scientific reason behind it or a scientific background. And that's my thing, right? I've studied all of this, right? As a nurse, and not to sound like a total nerd, but for fun, I love to like just study like what part of the brain is causing this to happen and why is this, it's so fun. So there's so much science behind this, right? And then I have evidence supported just things, right, that we can do to make ourselves feel better. So in our brain, every single night, I know you think that we're just asleep and we're just passive and nothing's happening, but our brains are actually working while we sleep. It's a whole thing. All day long, our hippocampus, which is part of the brain that let's just call it like an intake folder, right? Like it's like where it stores things as things are happening. It's collecting information all day long, things that are happening to you. Because later on, we're going to potentially need it, right? Your friend suggested a new book. You remembered that your husband needs a dentist appointment. The kids scraped the knee, whatever, right? It's collecting all of this. It's paying attention to this, all the emails, all the events, all the emotions. And when we fall asleep, a lot of work happens in our brain, right? Slow wave sleep. So that's the earlier part of the night, which is a very restorative part of our sleep. Very important part. The hippocampus starts replaying our day. It's literally going through all of the things that it stored all day long, right? Going back, all these patterns are coming back through our brain. Everything is going out, all the things, so that it can sort things through. It can delete things and it can send important things to a different part of the brain called the neocortex for long-term storage or semi-long-term storage as well. Your kid had a little accident, scraped their knee. It's important. We're going to stuff that into the shorter long-term, storage so that we can remember in the next couple of days to watch for infection, to make sure it's treated. Are they mentally okay? Are they emotionally okay? Right? Something that is very low key, like an email that you responded to, it didn't have any follow through that, we need to think about it later on. That's deleted. Your brain forgot. You probably don't even remember it now. You don't remember what you ate for breakfast yesterday. We don't care. We moved on, right? So it's like this hippocampus kind of is speaking over the night to these different parts to selectively activate memories. It literally links things in our brain together, right? These neural pathways. It's so fascinating, to be honest. It's strengthening all of the synapses, the neural pathways, everything that corresponds to each other. It's giving us quick access to those memories. It's making sure that it's like in our brain. I just get so nerdy about this. It's so fun. So then the next part of our sleep is REM sleep, right? And we cycle through all of this stuff multiple times, right? But REM is where the emotional processing happens. So our brain takes the experiences that it's filing in, right? And it's starting to really integrate things. It's making a lot of meaning out of them. It's connecting everything to things we already know. Like I said earlier, it's strengthening everything, right? It's back. You guys, I'm so excited. The Rise Summit is back. If you caught us last year, you already know this free summit is where it's at. I have over 40 speakers, 40 speakers, experts in health and wellness, relationships, just overall living your best life. They are coming to chat with us about all things happiness. I literally have women that know so much about all kinds of the aspects of our lives that can cause us to feel really miserable or really just basically not like ourselves. So this summit serves to help you come back into feeling like you again, to be you again, to really find your happiness and feel like yourself again. So come and join us for free. All of the information is in my link in my bio or down below in the show notes, so you can come and join us once again, absolutely 100% free. Then we also get dreaming with this. So as you can imagine, we're starting to make things make sense. Our brain starts to take narratives from our day, patterns, things that happen from our day, and make sense of it. So that sleep wave, the slow wave sleeping, the first kind of part is filing everything, sending it to where it needs to go, sorting it, all of that. And then REM sleep is really processing the emotions, integrating the meanings, and we're getting some dreams. So cortisol, we're going to jump in, and I'm going to talk to you about why the dreams, because I know that you've had nights where you have weird dreams about stuff that happened to you during the day, but it's added into just weird shit, right? You maybe have a dream about a conversation you had that day with somebody, but the house isn't the same, as the place where it really took place in real life. And it's some weird fantasy house with funny mirrors or weird stuff, right? Whatever. So let's talk about how cortisol plays into this, because that's our stress hormone, right? And stress hormone, it's important. It's going to fire us up to activate our body when things are stressful and things are happening. So we need that. We need it to be higher in the morning as we get going, as we wake up, as we're starting to go. And then it starts to taper off as we start to get ready for bed. That's our whole circadian rhythm, right? Is a big part of this. When you have a high stress day, stress fires more cortisol. All of this activates the stress response, signaling cortisol to come into our bodies, right? So when you have a high stress day and that cortisol spurts are coming in and you haven't had time to kind of down regulate, chill out, right? Take a big walk after a heated conversation, take some deep breaths after a stressful event of your child scraping their knee. It was stressful for them, but you saw them go through that. You love them, you're stressed, etc. If we are not taking the deep breaths, the down regulation, a walk, some kind of pause, something to really reset and kind of stop that stress response, or not stop it because it's important to complete it, to be honest, but to taper it down, right? Let the cortisol rhythm kind of naturally find its way back down. It will stay elevated, right? And elevated cortisol at night is going to do something very disruptive to that whole pattern. So between your hippocampus and that neocortex, that storage in the middle of your REM sleep. So research, of course, I did the research here. It's describing the high cortisol as disrupting those interactions between the hippocampus and the neocortex, right? So the filing system gets jammed. It's like you're trying to put stuff into the trash bin in your computer and it won't let you. You're trying to save things into your Apple freaking storage and apparently the storage is full, whatever, right? So that's what's happening. It's like the signal, like the error alert. It was supposed to get processed, it was supposed to get integrated, and it doesn't, or it happens badly, incomplete, right? So this is why you start having all of these crazy dreams or crazy, like it's all just connected to how your body is operating. You are trying to process things, but the cortisol is jamming that signal or whatever, right? So it's not working. And it starts to create this whole loop because the poor sleep leads to more elevated cortisol. Baseline cortisol will be elevated if we're not getting enough sleep. You're more emotionally reactive. You're more sensitive to stress. You're not able to regulate. So then that day's harder and then that night gets worse. And it causes over time chronic stress and chronic burnout, right? And it's at a neurological level, like you're not thinking properly, you're getting a lot of brain fog, you're having a very hard time processing things, all of this. The research also shows that just the perception of poor sleep quality is associated with increases in those basal cortisol levels. So waking up and feeling like you didn't sleep very well, your body responds to that belief with cortisol. Insane, right? Replay that if that didn't land. Like, listen to that again. Your body will increase its cortisol levels if you just feel like you didn't sleep well enough or think the perception. So there's a somatic piece that comes in. and I want to just kind of add it in. I know that we talk a lot about the nervous system regulation being the EFT and the breath work and, somatic movement, but there's so many things that you can do, right? Research makes it very clear that what you do during the day directly determines the cortisol load in your brain as it goes into sleep mode. And that cortisol load determines the quality of the overnight processing that our brains do, which we need it to do well, right? So that we don't have all of these crazy interrupted weird dreams and all this weird stuff and wake up feeling like you're hit by a truck at 4 a.m., right? So doing things to regulate your nervous system midday, even if it's something small, even if it's 3 minutes, I swear by this stuff, especially as somebody who's very high achieving and very high whatever. I like to do too many things. I have a very jammed schedule. So even doing just like 3 minutes of a slow box breath would work. Hey friend, I am so excited to pop in here really quick and announce that the Rise retreats are back. So if you've been feeling exhausted or irritated or like you just overall lost your spark, but you can still go to work and crush it, right? Pick up the kids, do all the things. Then you feel later like you're just going through the motions, right? You're numbing with wine, you're leaving all your friends on red, you're yelling at your husband because he cannot find the ketchup again. Like, absolutely, I've been there because it's right in front of his face, honestly. But still, right? This is the sign that your nervous system is trying to just tell you that it's overwhelmed. It can't take anymore, right? And I know that this is trending on Instagram, but the thing is, you really don't need to just quit your career that you've worked your brains off for, right? No. So it's time to just process some of the stress, regulate our nervous system, reset, so that we can hear ourselves again, right? We can relax, we can feel like ourselves again. And some of us don't really know where to start. Like that was me a few years ago on my burnout journey. I had no idea where to start when I started to feel all of these things, exhausted, irritated, all of that. And that is what Rise retreats are for. So we are going to be meeting for a 3-day experience. This retreat is going to be in the hills of Castro Valley, California. It's so freaking gorgeous. This is like a huge, beautiful gated house up in the, mountains. We have all of these really beautiful balconies that are like in the trees. I can't even explain. Like, pictures are on IG. You have to check it out because it is freaking gorgeous. We are going to be meeting October 9th through 11th, and there are just very limited spots. I keep them very intimate so that I can truly dive in with each of you and kind of tailor the experience, right? A few spots are already taken. I know. And the link is in the show notes, or, DM me personally so that we can connect. We can get on a little coffee chat and just find out if it's a good fit for you. And you can come and join us. Or you all know my favorite, the like 4-1 breath. It's like 4 sniffs in and then 1 slow exhale. So just literally keep going in through the nose 4 times quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out, exhale. All of that, right? You can just do a couple of rounds of this, and it's reducing the neurological burden that your brain is going to have overnight, right? You're helping to reset, recenter, reduce that, just down-regulate yourself, reduce the stress. You're helping clean your hippocampus a little bit, if that's like a kind of a cute way to, say that. You're almost giving it a head start of just being able to organize, being able to let it go. And if you go to bed with a body that's been dysregulated for 12, 14, 16 hours, your brain is going to be spending all night just trying to manage the stress load, right? Before it can even get through. It's like, think of, this whole sorting process. It's a folder, it's a whole box of folders that's in the back corner of a room that's been just completely overrun by clutter. So to get to it is a freaking obstacle course. That's like kind of how I'm thinking of it. That's how I'm picturing it. So when we do a little bit of this breath work, we're reducing the obstacle course, right? The hoarder situation of like, you've seen the show Hoarders, right? Like piles and piles of magazines and all kinds of crazy stuff just for you to get to that box. All these things that don't matter, that we don't need to think about it. all of this extra stress, right? Making it harder to get to what we need to do in the first place. So micro regulation, micro moments. We don't have to do 40 minutes of yoga before bed. Although, yes, it's going to be helpful. Do it if you can. Like, that's amazing. A sound bath. Like, I love to host my sound baths, right? I have several free ones on YouTube. You can do that for 30 minutes. You can do an hour-long one. Some people have them that play all night, right? While they're sleeping. Excuse me. That's fine. That's amazing. But I know that you don't have time to do that every single day. If you're anything like me, that's overwhelming, right? I love to do them, not every single day though. Do the micro regulation. Take a breath, take a pause, touch grass, right? We all say touch grass. I literally go and sit at the ocean. I did last night. I literally had to leave my house, go sit at the ocean. It was cold as heck. It was windy. It was foggy. It wasn't the most beautiful day, but just sitting there and regulating myself, just chilling out, allowing myself to meditate, allowing my thoughts to just move through, I think that the most burned out periods of my nursing career have taught me, right? Like when I'm so exhausted that I'm just unable to even function, right? And you pass out right away and you sleep through the night, but you wake up and you feel like crap. And it's like, actually, I was just unconscious for 8 hours, but I wasn't resting. I wasn't feeling good. And that's the whole thing. That's why this was happening, is because my cortisol wasn't coming back down. That's why I gained 100 freaking pounds during the end of COVID, because my cortisol levels were way too high. Everything was just staying so high because I wasn't taking those moments of micro regulation. I wasn't back then taking any macro moments of regulation either. That's what led me to finding all of this world, right? But doing these things for yourself so that you can better process things during the night, your sleep is going to start to become so much better. Watch this. Let your cortisol start to come down. Do this micro regulation stuff, and the 4 a.m. cortisol spike is not going to happen as often for you. I can promise you that. Your sleep quality is not just about those nighttime things. So we have to work on daily activities to get our sleep quality. And that's a whole other conversation. Not going to get into all the other things that we can do, like blue blockers and eating 3 hours before bed, not eating too soon, and water, decreasing our water intake 2 hours before bed, and getting enough sunlight during the day. I mean, there's so many sleep hacks. I think it's like episode 10 and 11 of this podcast are about sleep, like my very first episodes, because it's so important. So go back and listen to those if you want to as well. I read the big 400-page book by Matthew Walker, all about why we sleep and how important it is and all of the hacks. But the main thing is, it's all about the things that we are doing all day long. It's not just about having a cold and dark room at 10 p.m. and passing out, right? Or taking a gummy, like a melatonin gummy or whatever, and passing out. It's not about that. It's about setting ourselves up for success, and cortisol, microregulation, all of this, the way that we are able to process our thoughts, the way that we are able to set our brain up for success so it can do its job at night. All of this is so importante. So, little small intentional moments woven into the day, because your brain needs this. If you want to explore a little bit more about this and learn these things and practice and have the deeper conversations, the more individualized conversations about what's going on in your life more individually, how to fix it, how to work through it, that kind of thing, you already know the Rise retreats are where I host, the all-inclusive. It's all-inclusive. It's the somatic healing. It's everything. You literally just need to pack a suitcase, add a bathing suit for the hot tub, and show up and just come enjoy. This is where we're doing our somatic healing practices. We're doing breath work. We're doing sound healing. We're getting a little bit more personalized about what your day looks like and how we can make small shifts to really reduce the cortisol, make our lives better in so many different ways, and enjoy our lives and find more happiness and more peace. So come and join us. I do have spots left. They are going to fill up. They always do. And I honestly would tell you to not hesitate, because the last minute is when it always fills up. And then I always have people messaging me and like, I really wanted to go. And so get it now, get in so we can get you going and get everything, processed. And I can't wait to see you there in October. It's going to be the beginning of October. I think it's the second weekend. It's the 9th through 11th. And yeah, let's do this. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Ready to Rise podcast. It means so much to me to have you here and to get to share all of this with you. If this one resonated, literally just send this to a friend, share it with her right now, because there's so many women out there who really need this information. And I would also love it if you could take a quick screenshot, throw it up on Instagram, tag me at Hello Audrey Rose so that I can connect with you and get to know you. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and I will see you next time.